Hi guys, Do here with a new video. In this video, we're going to talk about Paladin and leveling as a Paladin. So I have kinda decided to play a Paladin as a second main. I leveled my warrior to level 24, but then I decided like I know what I will get with a warrior level 60. There are plenty of it, but having a paladin doing some AoE tanking, doing some healing, doing some damage if you're using the right consumes, and doing some PvP, I feel like this class goes very well with what I already have with my priest. With my paladin, I will be able to do some AoE grinding. I will be able to do some good PvP ranking because ranking gear will be very important on paladin, contrary to priest, where you could, technically speaking, gear up through raiding and basically get some PvE stuff, and you could literally just heal as a T1 or T2 paladin priest and be like equivalent to a ranking gear. While paladin ranking will be very important because those pieces are not going to be as prevalent. And if you are full T or tier 2, it's still like very much possible to just be full ranked and fully ranking gear and still be very effective. Now, why am I making this video? So I am going to log on my paladin. I'm going to talk about a specific thing you can do as well if you have like a bit of gold, a bit of like investment. Again, I did all in on a paladin. You could also just not do the same as me and go a little bit slower, which is also fine. But I decided to go all in on my paladin, so I did spend a bit of money on engineering. By money, I mean gold from my priest to my paladin, and gets my engineering up. I decided to also like invest on a few BOEs, and I'll be showing you my gear. I'm going to remove this, although it's BIS. Let's talk about this really quickly. It's for sure not the only thing or only way to play your paladin. Myself, I have a smite mighty hammer. Like I have a blessed run with my paladin. Like literally everything I'm needing, I'm getting it. So it's quite cool. I have my smite mighty hammer. I even bought kill maim just to test it out. I've never played with that weapon. Why not test it out on my paladin as well? And I'm going to do the very good quest line to get the how it's called, to get the big hammer at the end of the questline, which is going to be quite good. But I need to have a Shadowfang Keep group up. I need to do Dead Mines. I think it's also like outside of BFD, and I need to do the ogres at the northeast of Lokmadan. So I'm going to do that, obviously. But why am I talking about Paladin right now and not really about Retribution Paladin? No, I'm talking about the AoE tanking, the AoE machine Paladin. So what I'm doing is I get all the goodies for healing, because then I'm very, very versatile. If you don't need a tank, I'll be able to heal. If you do need a tank, I'll be able to tank, kind of thing. So I put my 5 points into Divine Intellect. Spiritual focus will be also up, because that's very important, because sometimes you want to heal while you're getting hit, just to have your consecration ticking, but also be able to heal yourself up quite well. And then you have consecration, obviously very important for AoE tanking, and it's going to go well with Righteous Fury, because every single holy attack is going to generate some threat. Not only that, I'm going to then go into protection most likely and get read up, because that's going to be very important for AoE grinding, because I'm also running with Iron Spike. So Iron Spike is something you can get if you're a blacksmith or you have a blacksmith friend. The blacksmith needs to be above 150, and you can buy it off the auction house. It costs like, I think, 40 silver if you can buy it. It was 40 silver for me, so I bought it. Ask a blacksmith in my guild. I am in a leveling guild right now, my paladin, so you are basically filled with people leveling, and some people are leveling their professions, which is cool. I decided to whisper them, ask for the level of blacksmith. They were above 150. They were at Iron Forge. I was also on Iron Forge. He did it for me for free. So what you need to do is trade with someone and put the shield on the spot where you cannot trade. So basically like enchanting, and you need to give the armor spike to the blacksmith. He'll put it on your shield, and that's gone. You cannot do it yourself if you're not blacksmith, but you can wear it, and you can also trade with someone that has blacksmith and put it on via that way. So it is an enchant pretty much, but it's a very useful one. But it only activates if you are blocking. Now my block chance is only 5%, maybe a bit lower. It's like 5%, which is not that big. But the good thing is you have talents that can improve the blocking chance. So you have redoubt, because every single time you're going to get crit, you're going to be able to have an increased block chance, and that is going to be 30%. So basically, if you're getting critted, you're going to get like 35% block chance, and if you have like 5 enemies onto you, you're going to block often, which is going to again activate the spike damage, which is, it seems not big, but in AoE it is actually big. With also your consecration up, with also your retribution aura up, you're going to give a lot of thorns damage, and that's going to be very good at the end to clear out mobs. Now obviously AoE grinding means you also need to have at least 4 or 5 mobs onto you and not die, and not have or need to use consumes. By consumes I mean potions, by consumes I mean minor mana potions, by consumes I'm meaning also the heavy dynamite and explosive shield, for example, that I have right now. Those things are less desirable to be used. Obviously, if you can use it and you're a rich guy, why not? Again, I'm not really rich, but I decided to go all in. And if I want to tank dungeons, if I want to be able to do AoE grinding, I want to have safety nets. So my explosive shot sheep and my heavy dynamite, which is quite cheap to make if you are at that engineering level, and it is quite worth it, obviously. It is very useful, but you want to not to use it. But I decided to get it so I can do stuff very much easier, but also with a safety net of having a faster clear. So that is my point. Now my gear is again BOEs that I bought. Literally also my shadow goals you could also buy yourself if you're engineering. I decided to level up my engineering. I already have 215. That is a serious investment. I had I think invested 25 gold, something like that. It's quite big, but it's quite cheap for now. So if you want to do engineering, it's better to do it now than I would say in 2 months, where the prices are going to be up because of bots or whatever. The inflation is going to hit at one point. So this is quite necessary, because you can buy those heavy dynamites. You could also make it yourself, but you could also buy it. You could also buy the explosive sheep if you want to, although you could also do it yourself. And you could also at one point buy stuns, or like those grenades that are very much good for PvP as well, but it's also good in AoE environments. So if you are able to use some consumes for engineering, it's going to be way easier. Now I decided to stick onto stamina strength, but the ideal is if you can step away from strength and go into intellect. Intellect stamina is huge for AoE grinding, because most of your damage comes from using your spells. So you have consecration, which is a spell that you're going to use. You're going to use some holy lights to keep yourself alive without using a potion. You're going to use your seals, and you're going to use your judgments. My seals are going to be used on Seal of the Crusader into Judgment, and then if I want to strike faster, I will be doing Seal of the Crusader. If I want to strike harder, I will go for Seal of the Righteousness. Seal of Righteousness, excuse me. The issue is that some people think that Seal Crusader is like a net DPS loss. It's actually just it evens out. It is not a DPS loss. It is literally just you hitting less hard but faster. And how many times do you hit very hard and you have a longer swing time, but he has like 1% HP? It's very annoying for you at that point to like eliminate that mob without like losing a lot of damage, potential damage, or a lot of mana. So if you want to really like stop that guy from fleeing or whatever, you have to use your judgment and reapply a seal, or you have to wait a swing timer, or you're going to do a consecration, or you're even going to throw a bomb if you're like very scared of like getting multiple mobs onto you. So that's something that can happen. And that's why Seal of the Crusader is actually a very good seal, because it makes you hit faster, more reliable, and you can finish targets way faster. At one point, if you're like at level 38 or 36, I don't remember, you will get like a seal to recover mana. That's going to be quite good as well. But I am not a fan of keeping mana for the sake of keeping mana. Mana is your fighting bar, pretty much. If you don't have mana, you are useless. You're not doing any damage, and you cannot tank, or you cannot heal, or you cannot do even some basic DPS. But having mana at 100% is basically not using 100% of your capacities. That's how I see it. Your health bar is the same. You don't want to be 100% of your health bar at all times, because it seems, again, that you're going to invalidate a lot of your resources that you need to use to be able to clear content. If you are like at 100% HP at all times and you're doing 1v1s versus mobs every single time and you are not in danger, I'm going to give you an example on this one. So I'm going to just use my mana, right? So even Seal of the Crusader, if I'm at 100% HP even at the end of the fight, I could have basically took multiple mobs onto me without sweating and having a faster clear time. That's how I see it. If you have multiple mobs onto you and you can survive that and you're clearing faster those mobs that you would do in 1v1, then that's a huge benefit, and you're going to get a lot of XP for basically nothing. So I'm going to show you here. Again, it depends on where you want to grind. So here I have like 4 mobs. I want to take 4 mobs. It's not like gigantic. I could do 5 even, but this is like a good start. Obviously I need to use my blessings, and I just do basically consecrate. I'm going to lead and try to kill fast. And Seal of the Crusader with like your consecrate is going to bring a lot of damage extra onto your consecrate. If you're sealing your Seal of Crusader, because it gives like holy damage. Now I don't need to spend any mana or any health, and I'm good to go. I have cleared 4 mobs and I am at a 3.2k XP per hour just clicking on 4 mobs and hitting them. Obviously I have made that video and I logged for 10 minutes. I did like just one fight of 30 seconds. So obviously I lost 10 minutes of XP, but if I was doing that way more efficiently, I would be leveling pretty much a level every 30 minutes. If I'm doing like a clear route where I have mobs that is going to respawn quite fast. So I can just continue again. Like for example, that one mob is going to be cleared very fast if I was doing that. But what am I going to do? I'm going to pick a bit of risks, right? Again, this is not hardcore, so I can die. That's not a problem to me. But if I have a problem, I will be holy lighting, and I have the talent to be able to holy light safely. And now I can use my spells to be able to clear them very fast. And if I have problems like right now, I could always bubble. I'm gonna bubble right now, for example. I could always bubble because I didn't do a correct pull, and that would be another problem. I could still win pretty reliably, and I still have Flash of Light, so I could Flash of Light myself multiple times, and I'll be good to go. I cleared like 3 mobs, I think, which 4 mobs, which is not that great. Again, I could use my engineering stuff, but it's very expensive, so I don't want to use it too much. I used a little minor mana potion, which is literally what you can get from chests or from mobs, which is always going to be welcome. And like clearing one mob is really fast as well. And this is like inefficient for me right now because I don't have like that one talent in Redoubt, which is going to help me into shielding more, which is doing more damage for me as well. And what I like about this version of leveling is that you're not really you're not relying on quests. So you could stay at one place and you are kinda a mage, a lesser mage, because a mage is going to pull way more and he will have a mana break, but he's pulling way more and it is a bit more risky for them because they don't have ice block below level 30, so they could always get away or they're going to not clear efficiently, which is fine. So now we have 4 mobs onto me and I can just safely even like seal off the righteousness and try to kill it as fast as possible. Just consecrate multiple times. Oh, now I have a target onto me. What I can do is like heal me 2 times. Well, that talent doesn't seem to work, and I'm going to use a heavy dynamite, and now I'm very safe. I can just clear it very easily. And that's something, again, you could also use a lesser dynamite or whatever, like something that is not expensive to make. This is not even expensive to make if you are like having a second main like me. If you have like a main level 60 and you're leveling a paladin, which is very plausible at this point, or you are like hesitating to change mains, you could always like send a bit of gold, get the required engineering levels. You don't even need to go very far like me. You could also just stop at the certain points where you need some dynamite. For example, solid dynamite. And also, it's not something I'm going to make because it does too much damage, but it's also way too costly. Like this is really expensive, and this is also expensive. But what you could do is maybe stop at coarse dynamite, which is already 70 damage, which is always going to be welcome. And this is really not expensive to make. And this is just requiring 75 engineering, which is not very expensive to do as well. But if you can go further and go to 125, 125 is very good, and it's also not that expensive to make. You can also find a profession guide without a problem. You're going to be able to make this, and basically you need, for example, 20 wool cloth, and you get 40 heavy blasting powder, which you can make it yourself. If you get, like, for example, which one is it? The heavy blasting powder. You need heavy stone. You can basically make those heavy dynamites. You will be having between 5 times 20, or if you're very unlucky, 1 times 20. So it will be between 20 and 100 heavy dynamites, and that is going to be good enough for one leveling session, for example. And again, all the farming you're going to do with AoE farming or doing dungeons is going to repay itself. Obviously, you're not going to be very rich at the end of being level 60, but your mount is basically free at level 40. And in general, once you're going to do some dungeon grinding, like for example in SM or in Zul'Farrak or whatever dungeon you're going to do, if they're accepting you as a tank, which they should, to be fair, then you're going to make up for gold, and you're not going to have to use dynamites or whatever to clear content. And you see, whenever I'm taking just one mob, I'm like basically just rolling over them. And I'm level 20 and they are level 17. Obviously, it's going to be a lot easier for me. But I'm going to try to put myself into danger. So for example, I have like 4 mobs onto me. I could also take those mobs, but I'm not going to do that right now. So I'm going to finish this one. I'm going to try to not seal. I'm not going to try to judgment. I'm just going to seal up the Crusader and just basically watch my HP and try to clear the mobs as fast as possible. And since I have a lot of intellect, not a lot, but enough, and since I have the right talents, I'm not really in danger. Like, the only CD I'm going to use is either Bob or Divine Shield, Divine Protection. I can also lay on hands on myself, but preferably I'm not going to use that except if I have a long walk. Again, it is not hardcore, so I don't really care about dying too much. Dying is accepted in my realm. I also even booned a running cry. Like, again, I'm going all in on my Paladin whenever I can feel like I can like spend 10 gold on a good buff and I can grind for 2 hours. I'm going to unboon it and then I'm going to grind it for 2 hours and basically power level very quickly. But I need to have a good zone with good respawns. I need to have, for example, a good gaming session where I'm like uninterrupted for 2 hours, which is not really often these days, but like literally being focused, hyper focused on like 2 hours and being able to use that rallying cry as good as possible. I'll be doing that. And this way of leveling has been really fun. Like I said, I'm currently at 9k per hour XP wise, and I wasted 10 minutes. So if I didn't waste for 10 minutes, I will be really high on the XP per hour if I was doing efficient. And like I said, for example, those mana potions, you're going to get it in those chests, and that will be not a problem. And this is like one of the efficient zones, I guess, for like respawns, because they are like very dense. And there are not a lot of people because everyone is like following those guides from RXP or Zygar, and they never really bring you there or bring you here, I would say. Which is a shame because I really like Lockmodown, but this is like really just like a good zone to do AoE. Like for example, now I have 5 mobs onto me, right? And this is really enjoyable. Like it's very, I enjoy this like this way of PvP of leveling because you are not really playing Paladin how they are supposed to be, I guess. Because if you're playing Paladin how they're supposed to be, you're playing with a two-hander, you're going to do mob per mob, and you're not really pressing crosshair strike because you don't have it. You're not pressing anything because you don't have any spells. And you see I have cleared 5 mobs. I can just regen with one holy light into drinking, and then if I have like food from like mobs or whatever, I would be like consuming it as well. For example, that haunch of meat, I use it to get my HP back, and then I can just grind again. I'll take this mob and then go up, for example. I'll rebuff myself. I'll take those 2 mobs. You're good to go. And you can level really quickly just by, again, finding something that is very amusing first and foremost, very comfy as well, but also very challenging. I feel like this way of leveling is very challenging because you could dive more often than not if you're not like really paying attention, but it is also very rewarding because again you're taking more mobs onto you. It feels like more active. It feels also leveling way faster as well, and those are like equally leveled as me. Like I'm level 20, he's level 19. If he would be level 17 and I had more mobs onto me, I think that would be the more interesting way of grinding AoE. That's for sure. But again, I wanted to show you guys what is possible with equally leveled mobs, and those mobs are like hitting not that hard, but also have a lot of armor, and I could be even safer if I went for Devotion Aura. Or if I'm level 22, I believe, I get Concentration Aura, so I would be swapping auras every single time I'm going to heal myself. I also get a rank for Holy Light, so basically I could just do 2 Holy Lights, I would be full without being able to get interrupted, and that's quite big. I'm going to do one big pull again, if I can find some mobs. I think not that way. Well, like you see, with 2 mobs, I'm barely losing an HP. Like, I'm not using Consecration. If I'm using Consecration, this is like really just a piece of cake, pretty much. And again, I'm not using my dynamites if I want to do very fast clears and I want to be like power leveling. Like I said, I'm going all in. I'll be using it in this video, but I used it one time because I was about to die, and that's it. And you don't need to do engineering if you want to do that stuff, but obviously if you are engineering, it's way faster, way more easy, way more relaxed, and also just in general way more efficient, but it costs us a lot more money. And this is like at lower levels, the higher you go, the easier it becomes because you have more talents. Once you have your readout, once you even have your toughness, you could also say, look, I want to have precision, but that is not as important if you're facing lower levels. Once you have, let's say, your not Blessing of Kings, excuse me, if you have your improved righteous fury for your dungeon grinding, and your shield specialization to get less damage, and then you're going to into level 40s where you get like Blessing of Sanctuary. That's going to help you a lot by just simply standing still and having no damage onto you. Like, Blessing of Wisdom is a very good blessing, but if I could have Blessing of Sanctuary on myself, then this becomes like really just easy. And like I said, the higher you go, you will be having more items. You have a lot of great items, which I'm going to discuss in a future video, where you could literally like AoE grind your way into victory. You could also do dungeons, you can do whatever content you want to do. And what is good about this talents that I'm going to run is that you can basically just heal and tank with just one talent build. And that is actually a very good one. And what I'm also running is, as you can see in my bags, I have also intellect set with spirit, just to heal dungeons. If I feel like I'm going to be a healer, I don't need to tank, which is a bit sad because I do like tanking, but if I'm a healer, I will have the items to be able to heal efficiently without losing too much mana. Having some good spirit to be able to regen that mana pretty efficiently as well. And at that point, I'm going to be able to do my job way more efficiently. Again, thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate you. Hopefully you did learn something. Hopefully you are excited to maybe try Paladins out in Classic. I know some people may say it is quite boring to play and it is like a snooze fest, ZZZ kind of gameplay, but truly you kind of make out Paladins how they are, how you play, how you take risks, how you decide to play the game. If you're playing the game like this, pretty much, you just stand still, you're doing, oh, I'm gonna drink my coffee, I'm gonna like look on YouTube or whatever. You could play like this. It takes ages to just down one target, basically because I'm a Paladin. But you could also say, look, I'm gonna take a bit of risks. I'm gonna be like going for a bit more nuance, a bit more of a gray area. I'm going into taking 4 mobs onto me. And then it becomes a bit more interesting. Obviously, there's also a risk of dying, but that is just based off like playing the game. A warrior plays warrior and knows how death feels, and that is not a problem to have that as a paladin as well. But you see, even like without forcing, now I did ding, but I was not going to die, like literally. I don't need to use a potion or whatever, but I dinged. But you could literally just do that and have more fun, clear way faster and level way faster, and it feels more active. So thank you for watching this video, really appreciate you. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet, and we will catch each other probably soon in the next video. Have a great day, bye.